Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Lacquer. In today's video I have another topper party for you guys. We are going to try a bunch of different toppers over my current magnetic manicure. You guys have been seeing these two colors for quite some time in a number of my past videos. They have been two of my favorite magnetics to wear so far, so let's go ahead and see which ones they are if you haven't seen them before. The one on my left hand is Colorist Carol's Bougie Babe. This one was a special edition magnetic polish for Latanya's birthday. She is on Instagram as Lacquer to Lashes, and this is, like I said, one of my favorite magnetics. It is absolutely jaw-dropping. That magnetic particle that you're seeing as an electric like blurple from my angle is a fuchsia purple, and then it does shift to purple, it shifts to blue, plus you have those larger particled shimmers in the background or microflakes in this deep purple base. It is spectacular. Then it has flakies on top of that. So you can see a big flaky right there. It is utterly gorgeous. Like I said, one of my favorites. And then on my right hand is BaronessX Dawn of the Wind, another stunning magnetic. This one is actually one of my older polishes, and I think I got it through either a mystery box or a D-stash, probably a D-stash. And you guys, this one is just jaw-dropping. I cannot get enough of this one either. It kind of has a similar background where you have this blackened purple base with a similar shift in those microflakes. Now this one doesn't have the bigger flakes, but it does have the smaller microflakes that go from red to green to gold. Then the magnetic pull has this very like electric green that is not showing up very strong in this light. You're seeing more of like an aqua or teal, but it does shift to like an electric green through the teal to purple. There are so many shifts in this one as well. This is another stunning polish. All right, so those are the two polishes that we're going to be trying toppers over today because, as you can see, I have some chips and I need to change up my mani. Now, this is even shortened from when I was wearing it. I have been wearing this for, I think, over a week, and I had basically clipped off my nails to account for the chips that I was getting, and then I got that big one. So before we do the toppers, I am going to go ahead and show that being repaired because I don't want that chip to be throughout the entire topper video. All right, so we're going to try this setup this time so that my hands don't shake so much. But yeah, we're going to start out playing around with this new magnetic tool that I got. This is a 3D printed horseshoe type magnet, and as you can see, it's rainbows. I forget what color I chose, but they do have a bunch of different color options. I just chose to do something that I thought would be nice and rainbowy. But this one has a pretty strong magnetic pull from what the description says. I don't think it's 30 pounds, but I think it's pretty close to that famous horseshoe magnet that we all have seen all over YouTube. Now, I will say it is kind of small, so if you have bigger fingers, this might be a little bit of a tough squeeze. I have pretty small fingers, so for me it actually works quite nicely, although as you can see it doesn't really give you a ton of room for like cleanup or anything like that. Just something to note. So the one that we're going to repair is on my middle finger, and this one was Bougie Babe. Now this isn't how I did the manicure initially. I did just use a bar magnet, but I want to see how this works, and I do plan on doing an entire video on this new tool that I got. And I got it from SJ3 Designs, and they have a bunch of other 3D printed items. All right, let's see what I can do here to just sort of repair that very noticeable chip. I'm going to clean off the brush and come back and sort of dab it around. Obviously, it would be a bit easier to apply if I was trying to apply it over the whole nail. Try to pull off a bit of the excess there. And that still looks pretty messy, but we're going to leave it here and let the magnet do its thing. And I'm going to come back with a second coat. I mean, obviously this is never going to be perfect, but I do this sort of a repair every once in a while on nails when I don't feel like changing up the entire mani, but you know, there's a chip that's quite obvious. All right, and since it is a magnetic, I'm going to top coat it while it's in the little U-shaped magnet, because when you top coat any magnetic polish, you are going to re-wet the polish, and that can loosen your magnetic effect that you just created. All right, so while that is drying, I will say I think the magnetic pull might have been different than the effect that I was getting. If you missed me describing that before, basically I used a bar magnet and set the bar like this. But in any case, enough about that. Let's go ahead and see which polishes I'm going to try over Coloristicale's Bougie Babe. The first one is from OPI. This one is called Goldeneye. I got this either in a mystery box or maybe even a Goodwill bag or some other way. I think part of the James Bond collection. So I was really excited to find it. And it is a golden fleck. I thought this would be really pretty to try over this color. Now I don't think it was necessarily designed as a topper, but as you can see, it's in a clearish base. And yeah, this is what led me to believe that it would be a decent topper. You can see there on the wand, that clear portion right there, that you can see the wand quite nicely. So let's go ahead and try this on my pinky. And even though it isn't a clear base, I am going to try to wipe off enough of the polish that I don't completely drown this out, just in case. And you guys might be hearing Willa in the background. She always wants to come in here when I'm in here. So there we have it. Adds a nice little golden glimmer. Definitely changes up how the polish looks. Not that the OPI was too thick or anything like that, but it does completely change how that polish looks. You can still see the magnetic effect though, so that's good. In my other topper video that had been sort of a problem, I hadn't really been considering the shimmer part. So for this one, I did try to stick to mostly flakes or glitters. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to try is Wildflower Lacquer's Snow Kiss. This was part of the 12 Days of Sparkles, and it is specifically a topper. So this is one of the iridescent kind of mylar type flakies, and as you can see, there are a number of colors: pinks, blues, purples. There's a couple of shades of like green at certain angles, and then gold. I think this might have a few different kinds of flakes in here, so I thought this one would be nice to try over this one, because the types of flakies that I'm seeing in here were more of like that red. See right there, that larger fleck of red. So I think this should be a nice contrast over this color. And on this finger especially, you can see how long I've been wearing this polish. It's grown out quite a bit. All right, so that was Snow Kissed. I will say I'm not finding a favorite on this one so far, although I do like this one better than OPI's Goldeneye. I think it's because this one is just so amazing all on its own. It's really hard to top it with a topper and like get something that is even more impressive. I do like all the colors that you're seeing there. It is quite pretty. Next up is another mainstream. This one is Sinful Colors, Devil's Stare. This one I thought would be interesting because it is iridescent flakes and iridescent glitter in a squishy red base. So I'm curious how this one's going to look. I'm curious how much the squishy base is going to affect the polish on bottom. Actually not by much. Maybe? Interesting. Interesting indeed. Actually, that seems to work pretty well. Strangely enough, I think that might be my favorite so far, because you really still see the magnetic color underneath it. It didn't really change it as much as I felt these two did. And it added some sparkle. You can see that golden flake right there. Not a ton of the glitter. And because we're dealing with such a dark color, I don't really think that that red squishy base like diluted this color very much. Next up is more flakes, this time from Fancy Gloss. This is Elemenatlist. This is one of my newer polishes that I got from them. And as you can see, this time we are doing blue flakes. Now, I think this one does have a shimmer particle in it as well. So we'll see how it goes. But I wanted to see these blue flakes over this one. Basically, I was trying not to replicate the red flakes that I was already seeing in Bougie Babe. And I do remember this one was very opaque. So we're going to try to not drown out the color. Ooh, even wiping a lot off, this one still is pretty dense. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, it kind of added this more of a blue wash, which the magnetic pole is blue. But look how different that looks from the red. Now I can see a pretty big difference. It's almost like the red tinted that blue to more of a purple. Interesting. I like it though. I really like that one. That might be my favorite one so far, even though it does change it a little bit more than I thought we did that middle finger. I like it. In person, it's even better because from my angle back here, I'm seeing fuchsia as the magnetic pole. And then because of that, those blue flakes are a stunning contrast. That might be my favorite. Okay, and then last but not least for my thumb, we're going to do Color Club's Snow-flakes. This one is somewhat of like a UP type flaky. It goes from red to green to gold. So this is going to go on my thumb. This is definitely a topper. For sure, this is almost like not even showing up. But you can see those golden flakes. So it does add something. It's just sort of harder to see than the other ones. Yeah, I would say for myself, I do think Elemenatlist is going to take it, although I did really like the Sinful Colors one as well. That one was Devil's Stare. Yeah, none of these turned out quite how I was imagining them. Now we're going to do the other hand. This is BaronessX Dawn of the Wind. We're going to start with my thumb, who just got a bigger chip. Joy of joys. Well, if I try to fix that one now, it's going to take too long to dry. And it has two big chips. Oh my goodness, when did that happen? Okay, well, pretend it's not there. We're going to start with Kathleen & Co.'s She-Bop. This one has a bunch of different things in it. It's got iridescent flakes and a couple of different kinds, I think. Hollow flakes and then black matte flakes. I'm curious how this one is going to go because it is so dense. This is one that I think was technically designed to be worn on its own, if I'm remembering correctly. Ooh, I like it. I think we have a winner. So far, this is the one that I'm most excited about from the whole bunch, I think. I mean, I liked a few that we had here, that one especially, Elemenatlist. But yeah, this one looks really nice without drowning out the color underneath. And I think some of those flakes might be like the black to red multi-chromes, as well as the matte black. Next up, we're doing one from Stella Chroma. This one is called Do This Again Old Fashioned. This came from Polish Pickup for June of 2020. And same thing for this one. I'm going to try to wipe off a bunch so that I don't completely drown out the color. Ooh. Ooh, this one looks great. For some reason, I think the toppers that I picked for this hand are working better. I like that one too. That is really pretty. And from my angle, it's adding these fall tones in those flakies. That is utterly gorgeous. Next up, we have Zoya's Mosheen. This one actually has teeny tiny bar glitters as well as iridescent glitters. And it is in a squishy blue base, but I mean a very, very squishy blue base. All right, so this is going to go over my middle finger. Oh, okay, I could have wiped off even more. I will say I didn't quite wipe off a lot from this one because I could tell that it was a very, very sheer base, but I think I still ended up with a whole lot of like just base on this one, but I like it. Ooh, I like that one a lot. Ooh, that has got to be my favorite. That is so pretty. And it really packs on those bar glitters. Look at that. I am excited to see that one in different lights. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. For the win. Zoya for the win. Holy moly. Wow. Yeah, that is spectacular over this. Wow. Okay. Next up, we're going to try more flakes from Fancy Gloss. This one is Crystal Opal. We have more iridescent flakes. These are different than the other Fancy Gloss. So we have Elemenatlist on the left, more of a blue ghost flake. Crystal Opal has more of like a crystal effect in those flakies. And then just to compare it to Wildflower Lacquer's Snow-Kissed, those are also two different kinds of flakies. So the one on the left is Wildflower. Those are those mylar type flakies. And as you can see, compared to the ones in Crystal Opal, they are more opaque, even though they aren't as opaque as multichrome. So the ones in the Fancy Gloss are more translucent by comparison. Ooh, okay, that one looks really good too. So similarly to the Zoya, we're adding a blue element to this. At least that's what I'm mostly seeing. You see those like cobalt blue flashes, and there's aqua. Okay, both of those look fantastic over this. Wow. Love that. Yeah, for some reason, this hand is having better luck working with the toppers, in my opinion. Last but not least, on this hand, we're doing an Orly Color Blast. This one is called Green Flaky Matte Top. Very original name. I don't know why sometimes companies just go like, instead of naming a polish, they'd go, what is it? You know what I mean? Like that's what that is. It is a green flaky matte topper, but green opal, green jade. I mean, we could have come up with at least a minorly more creative name, people. I don't know. I'm a name snob, I guess. I really, really like words and names and how they sound. There's so many beautiful sounding words and phrases. To just like throw a description on something to me seems boring. But okay, here we go. Let's see if this makes any difference. Although I will say it does add a matte finish, so that could be interesting. So far, I'm not really seeing any huge flakies come out of this one, though. Oh, nope, there they are. They're sort of like a mix between a mylar and a ghost flake. Like, they're not in your face like these flakies, or even those flakies. Those are the mylar ones. That's that Wildflower, and this is Elemenatlist. But they're there. They are very interesting. You can see it drying to that matte finish. Actually, I think matte finish over this is going to look quite nice. Okay, so there it is in more of its matte gloriousness. I will say it adds an interesting effect to the polish. I don't know that it's my favorite though, because I feel like I'm missing some of the effect, that really glowy effect that you were getting with the magnetic pull on the other nails. You're sort of missing that because it's matte now. But I do like those flakies, the fact that they are so, like, not there. They are very ghostly, like, you can't really see them, then bam, there they are when you catch them in just the right light. That part I do like. But for this one, I gotta say the Zoya probably takes it for me as far as one that I would legitimately come back and wear as a full mani. Those bar glitters on top of that red are so beautiful. Wow. All right, so there we have it. That was all 10 polishes, 5 on Bougie Babe from Colorist Carol, 5 on BaronessX Dawn of the Wind. What did you guys think? What was your favorite? For me, I mean, they all turned out decently, but like I said, for the one over Colorist Carol's Bougie Babe, a lot of these didn't quite turn out how I was anticipating. So for me, I think I like Elemenatlist the best, just because I added some more colors and contrast. But I also really did like the Color Club. That one was, at least at first, not very impactful, but when I saw it out in the sun, it did add some really beautiful sparkles. Then on the other hand, over Dawn of the Wind, I really liked quite a few of them actually, but my middle finger, that Zoya Mosheen, that one is like my favorite. I also really like the one on my pointer. That one was Stella Chroma's Do It Again Old Fashioned. And I also like the one on my thumb. That one was Kathleen & Co. She-Bop. I thought that one added a lot of beautiful hollow sparkle over this color. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought, which ones were your favorites. In any case, hopefully you guys had a good time hanging out with me and looking at beautiful polish. If you're new, do think about hitting that little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Have a good rest of your day, and I will see you in that next one.